I'm Alan Stronach. I'm an instructional designer. I work at Durham University. I work at Durham University Business School. When I was young, everybody said how good I was at drawing. So it's something that I did as a hobby. It's something, something that I've always done. And with that, I wanted to build a career out of it. So when I had the choice at school to choose what I wanted to do, art and design were like top of the list. From then I went and did 2 years just art and design, but what we did there is we learned about graphic design, textile design, product design, and the passion just grew and grew. And from then we went on and did a course and focused on product design. So we would, for example, design a chair and build it. We would design this toy and build it. We did art installations. I made cameras and beds, you name it, I made it. And when I left that, I wanted to go into the product design arena and build a career in that. And unfortunately, at the time, there was no jobs around for that. I worked in call centre for about a year, and then after that year, the training team asked me if I would help out with training. There was one of the people who was on the sick, and I jumped at the chance. I got the job permanently and trained for about 8 or 9 years in the delivery. And then we had a restructure and a role became available for e-learning designer. I'd never done e-learning design before. I'd done training design because that was part of the trainer role, but I'd never done e-learning design. I thought, I'm just going to go for it. And I wrote a big sort of 2 A4 sides of why I should get the job, and I got it. So what I did, because I didn't have any experience, I found myself a mentor, set myself a 3-month development plan. I went on courses, I went on TAP certificates for e-learning, blended learning, did all of these things and became like an e-learning specialist. We then had another restructure after 2 years and I became a learning designer. So what I was responsible there was, not just the e-learning, but the classroom learning, the whole blended solution. So what I decided to do while I was there, I set myself a 5-year plan. And in that 5-year plan, I went back to university and I got my degree and I got my PGCE. Luckily enough, I got an interview for Durham University and I was so over the moon. Durham University is one of, it's a prestigious university. It's the 3rd oldest university in the country and it holds a lot of esteem. I couldn't believe me, look, I was so happy. I've worked a long time as a trainer, as an e-designer, as an L&D consultant to get to this point, to the ideal role that I've got now as an instructional designer. The first thing that I try to do is I try to think of it from the learner's point of view. Coming into a call centre and starting at the bottom and working my way up through to the learning development team, I always think about how would I want to learn, how would I want to do that activity, and I think that's probably one of my most important principles. And I want them to go away and feel like they've been into something that they've never been in before, really enjoyed it. The other principle that I go by is I always look for a different way to do things. So you can call it innovation, you can call it being creative, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm always looking for new ways. I pride myself on personal development. I'm always going to courses and looking for, learning about different technologies. And, if the old way that we do things is the right way, then I'm happy to do that as well. But I always want to look and sort of push the barriers and look for different ways that we can be creative. Then I was given a project to work on around webinars on online learning. They use a software called Blackboard Collaborate, and there wasn't any sort of formal training for Durham University Business School. So I was given the task of creating a suite of learning, and what I did is I went away and I created a blended learning solution for it. That consisted of different things, such as, first thing that I did is I created a webinar. I called it the wonderful world of webinars because I think the possibilities are endless with webinars. I think some people think there's limitations to it, but it was really bringing the classroom to an online session, and that was my main goal with this. And what I've done throughout this whole blended solution is to try and demonstrate that it's all possible within a webinar. So these are the 6 key elements of a webinar. So it's convenient, it's interactive, it's in real time, it's collaborative, it's leading technology, and it's also the ease of use. So this builds the circle of webinars, and it was a strap line and I guess a tag that I had for the webinar as it went through it, just to try and demonstrate to everybody how easy the webinar software and how easy webinars are to actually conduct. These are all examples of when we'd ask them to use annotation. So I'd ask them a question here, and then I'd get them to point to the answer yes or no. And that was them using their tools, but creating that interactivity and that engagement with them. We'd ask them some more questions, and what we'd do with these questions, we'd actually create breakout rooms. So while they're learning about webinars, they're using all of these tools, and it wasn't until the end that they realised that, oh yeah, we've used all of these things, as well as learning what webinars are and why we use them. I then created some handouts or how-to guides to go with it. So this is the how-to to accompany the how-to video on breakout rooms. And what it does, it gives you a clear step-by-step process of how to actually use a breakout room and actually build a breakout room. Just clear screenshots, highlighted areas. I remember what it was like working on a checkout. I remember what it was like, all those hard times, and to work and do a job that I love. I remember getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to QuickSave to let the milkman in. Now I get up at 7 o'clock to go to work, to make videos, to help people learn. To me, that's just like, it's amazing. I can't describe it. I think having a passion for what you do and a love for what you do is the thing that sort of motivates me. It makes me want to get up in the morning and go to work and think, right, I'm going to design a piece of learning that is going to be fantastic. This person is going to do this 10-minute piece of e-learning. They're going to walk away from it and feel totally different. They're going to feel engaged. They're going to feel that, it's something that they've never had before. And those are the things, you're a long time at work. You spend a lot of time there. It's important that you enjoy what you do. And I think the fact that I do reflects through everything that I design. Like I say, I always think about the person when I'm designing. I always think about what would they want to do, what would they want to learn, how would they want to do it. And I think if you take that passion, you take that, that want of seeing those people develop, those are the things that really motivate me and sort of, I guess, make me the designer that I am today.
I learned something.